there has been so many news coverage talking about AI. What's going on with it? How advanced are we with AI in the current state in 2023? And is it really going to be able to take over a lot of folks' jobs? Let's talk about it. So I've been thinking about this question of how advanced is AI really in the current state? And also, should we be worried? Is it really going to be able to replace our jobs? I mean, like, what can we do? How can we get ahead so that we currently are taking advantage of all of the capabilities that AI has to offer to make our daily life easier, more efficient, all of that stuff? But what's possible? Let's talk about all of that stuff. First, a lot of you might have already heard about ChatGPT, and if you have not used it, I highly recommend you to check it out. I think the very first time I tried ChatGPT, it asked me to sign up, create an email, create an account, and I did that, and I tried from the ChatGPT website directly. Now, some of you might have heard there's like new versions of ChatGPT already out, like ChatGPT 4, or there's a plus version that you do have to pay $20 per month as a subscription. And I was actually debating whether or not I should sign up for that. But wait. If you are also thinking about signing up just so that you could check out the capabilities like I was, please take a pause, because Bing recently have announced that they are also doing Bing Chat, which essentially uses components of the ChatGPT 4. Don't quote me, I don't know exactly which component, but basically if you do want to try out ChatGPT 4 for free, you have an opportunity to do that via the Bing Chat offer, which essentially you just download the Bing's app and you are able to see within the Bing's app, there is a chat with me function. You click that and you could use the ChatGPT for some of their functionality to get it going. I think that, well, first of all, it is free. So if you are new to the ChatGPT world or just overall with AI and you want to start practicing and just getting to know what you could do, what questions you are able to ask, what conversation you're able to have, what type of response it gives you, start at Bing. I actually think that Bing would be a good way to start, given that it is free and it is already leveraging ChatGPT 4, very good capability, and you could try it out. I think there are some limitation to it, like how many times you could ask questions. Like I think within a single conversation, you could ask, they call it 20 queries, but basically meaning like if you have an ongoing conversation about a topic like, hey, what do you think of this kind of TV? And you have a follow-up question about the same TV. You don't have to retype the entire TV again. You could say, what about this model? What about that model? Without having to repeat the whole question again. So that is like considered one conversation. So within one conversation, you could have back and forth kind of that query or prompt or conversation about 20 times. So every time they respond, you have 20 times to kind of go back and forth through Bing Chat. And it's up to, I believe, 150 conversation per day, which is actually quite a lot. I haven't been able to exceed that yet. But yes, if you are curious in checking it out in a more accessible way without having to log into ChatGPT's website and then pay for the plus subscription, which I think actually does kind of prevent me from using it in a more regular basis, because look, in the AI war, I feel like accessibility is gonna be key. Easier you make it easy for people to access your chat AI, the more people will be able to use it. So I think Bing is super smart on putting it in their website, readily available within their Bing app, so that you could already start enjoying and benefiting from the ChatGPT, some of their features. Now, after you, let's say, have downloaded the Bing's app and you are now playing with the Bing Chat AI, you might be wondering, okay, cool, like what can I really do with it? I mean, you could really start by just asking some really basic conversation as you normally would on Google search, but you'll very quickly realize that the answer it gives you is a little basic. It's depending on what exactly you ask. Sometimes you get a quite extensive reply, sometimes is not very helpful. And of course, keep in mind, all of these chat AI bot is still learning, so there will be mistakes and they will sound very confident in and giving you these answers. So like if you're asking something very serious, you do want to do your own due diligent research to verify if the answer is correct. But if you're just testing it out and you're just like wondering the possibility of things, I'll tell you the top few things that I've been using it for, and I do find it quite helpful. So one of the biggest, I would say, helpful things with the chat AI, I think one of the biggest different things when it comes to asking questions from a chat AI than like a Google search is that, of course, as many of you know, through Google search, usually you have to sort through a bunch of results. It like gives you links over links over links. Sometimes like a bunch of different articles that you have to click through, sort out to really find the one that's most relevant to you. So it is more time essentially spent to really sort out and view and find the articles and links and websites that's really answering the questions that you want to answer. Now with these chat AI, what I really love about it is that it really tries its best to summarize everything that you're looking for within like a short paragraph as much as possible. So for example, I have asked questions such as, hey, like what type of Samsung TV should I purchase? What are the best brands? Or what is the difference between OLED and this? You know, there's certain things that you don't really understand. Also typical questions that sometimes you would ask in a traditional Google search. Those questions, instead of having to sort through a bunch of these articles and questions from so many different websites and outlets, do a chatbot like Bing Chat, it's all aggregated for you. But of course, the con of that is you probably are gonna miss out on some other articles. So it could be a little bit biased in nature if it's really just choosing what it's think the top most popular articles are for you to give you that opinion. So do keep that in mind. But I do find it super helpful sometimes when you just want a quick explanation on what is OLED TV, which I didn't understand what it was. It just gives you a very quick definition of what it is right away. And then you could have that continuous conversation and build up on that question to the next thing, which it's quite helpful. Another thing that I have started using chat AI more and more on is, so personally, I have a subscription with Grammarly, which essentially is a tool, a brand, a platform that helps you with any misspelling, grammar errors, kind of checks your paragraphs, whatever it is that you're typing, email, etc., etc. I started using AI chat for that same purpose. So sometimes I would write something really quickly for an email, and it's a little lengthy, it's a little wordy. I would ask the AI chat to help me shorten it. I would say, help me shorten this into a bullet point, or help me check spelling, grammar, etc., etc. And that has been helpful because some of the recommendations that the AI chat have sped back to me are actually quite usable and sounds more professional. And I think one of the tips that I'm starting to learn with experimenting with different ways of talking to your AI chat, they call it prompt. You probably start hearing that word a lot. Oh, which prompt should I use to ask the AI to do certain things? But really think of prompt as a way to speak to your AI. Just like how coding, which I'm not good at, which is why, like, honestly, you know, coding is like a way to basically speak to your computer in an effective way for it to do something. Prompt is the same way, but it uses natural language to do so, which is much more simple. But you still want to understand the concept, because at the end of the day, the AI is a big brain computer. And in order for it to really understand your intent and what you're trying to ask it to help you with or to do, you need to kind of speak to it in a way that it could understand your intent and what it is that you want it to help you with. So essentially a prompt is that. And a prompt is important because that's where you essentially ask it to give it a context, like what exactly is your problem, what is it that you're looking for, and what role you want the AI chatbot to also take on in the way of answering you. So one thing that I learned recently that it's quite helpful is, what do you want the AI chatbot to act as? So for example, if I am curious on a salary range for a particular position in a certain location, I would want the AI chat to act as a HR person that is giving out salary ranges to tell me what would this particular position salary ranges be for this location in 2023, for example. So it gives more clarity, like what position do you want the AI's mindset, almost, even though it's not a a real mindset of essentially like from what expertise, what angle you want the AI chatbot to start finding that information, and then ask them the specific questions that you wanted to answer, which is the salary range for that particular industry, job, role, or location. And more, if you want to be even more precise, you could even tell the AI chat what ways do you want it to answer you with, like what output, what type of answers would be helpful for you to get. So for example, you could say, share with me in bullet points, or give me articles and videos that will tell me the range of those salaries. So it kind of is a little bit more structure, and that is what these like prompt is all about. It's that you basically give more information to your AI chat so that it knows exactly more like what do you want out of it, what is your intent, and it really kind of go through some way of searching all of that in the internet to find as much of those relevant information for you, right? Because it does give you the links that it gives credit to for those information as well. Another thing that I have tested AI chat for so far are formulas for like Google Sheets or Excel, because I mean, I have heard a lot of good things about people using ChatGPT to like write codes, review codes, and all of that, or create a website. I personally haven't tried those yet, but I also have heard examples of those codes that ChatGPT will spit out doesn't actually work sometime, even though it looks really legit, looks really pretty, like wow, like it looks like it's a real code. But before that, I personally in my job, I do sometimes work with my data analyst, meaning that I sometimes need to play a lot around with numbers. So I use Google Sheets. Sometimes I don't remember the formulas. I don't remember how to do, certain pivot things that I want to see, or VLOOKUP in certain ways, or it's just sometimes I don't remember all the formulas for everything, how to convert my currency to certain ways. I just don't remember. And so before, traditionally, I would go on Google search for it. Sometimes it does actually surface up really good formulas and suggestions and results right away. But now using Bing Chat or just ChatGPT or any other AI chatbot out there, just testing it out, those have been quite helpful as well, because again, it does summarizes those answer for you, and then you could plug in and try those formulas. I was able to actually have some of those Google Sheets, Excel type of formulated questions that I wanted answered eventually. And I say eventually because there were a few formulas that was provided to me, and maybe because the context of the question may not be super clear and what format I'll be using it in, I don't know. But some of the formula that is sped out actually didn't work, or at least didn't work for my use case, like how I wanted to use it. So I had to kind of tweak it a little bit by the time I actually copy and paste the formula from the AI chat into my Google Sheet to actually run the formula. I need to make some modification, but it did work eventually. And I would say the time that it took me from the moment that I plugged in the question in a really simplistic way, meaning that I usually do start my question in a way that I would ask a friend, like if I were to text you, what is the formula on Google Sheet for me to convert millions in an abbreviated format? Something as simple as that. I would legitimately just type the question as I almost would have asked it to a coworker or my friends or whatever, and see how well the AI chatbot could understand the question and spit out. And usually, honestly, the first try of some of those questions might not be successful, especially again, if you're not thinking in like the prompt language that it's more suitable for, you might not get the most optimal answer. And to be frank, most of the time when I ask the AI chat questions in a really natural way, like I would without too many context, sometimes like that example that I just shared with Google Sheet, it doesn't give you the best answer. It could be because I am still learning about how to use the prompt properly. But if you're trying it the first time, don't be disappointed right away, because to be honest, I was a little disappointed for the first few times I tried AI chat, just because majority of the time I feel like I'm not getting the answers that I really needed. Maybe like 60% of the time I was, and then the other 40 I still need to do a lot of work to like figure it out. So that's that. But it did help me eventually to find what I needed. It took about, I would say, 30 minutes total from the time I asked the question, refine the question, test out the answer it gave me, and then then refine the answers that it gave me, like the formula, and then restructure in a way that actually works end to end probably took about 30 minutes, which is still quite fast considering this is still quite new, but it is advancing very much so quickly. And I would say the last thing that I use that is helpful, it's just comparing items, getting some initial thoughts of like, is this better than that? Like I have a Ring subscription that I'm using currently now, but before I purchased that subscription, I did ask comparison of, is this better, is that better, and it did give me some pretty good decent responses on what it was able to find online. So definitely try it out if you want to just test out comparison of certain products or things that it's just readily again available online. It's able to summarize those questions for you usually. But yeah, I would say those are the very initial high level things that I have tried that is actually quite interesting, but I highly encourage all of y'all to also try it out, given that now Bing Chat is actually giving users a way to use ChatGPT for free, which is amazing. So I highly encourage all of you to try it out, and it's easily accessible. Again, just download the Bing's app and you're able to actually check it out. So I hope you all have fun. I'll share more with you next time.